Good morning. So I got up early and I did some meditation and got up and just doing some journaling and then I something just came up. Like something just came up in my mind and I'm it got so deep that I'm just thinking I thought I'd just share. So it all started with my question of what the soul really is. What is the soul? And looking back, the soul, I'm thinking that the soul is the breath of God, the word of God, because when God spoke, like whenever we speak, breath comes out of our mouth, right? So when God spoke and breath came out of his mouth, it made words, and that word is our soul. I'm thinking his breath or his word, that vibration, that's what is the male and female soul, because that's what it says in Genesis. And God said, let us make man in our own. And I'm thinking, no, back when he said, let us make man in our own image, I'm thinking of image and likeness. I'm thinking of what does the word image and likeness mean? Image means something that I'm able to see. I can see an image. And then I'm looking back in the Bible also where it speaks about God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit. Now, can you see a spirit? How did this idea come up of God being a spirit? Who thought of it? Who said it? Somebody must have said it. But then again, how can he have said it? How would he know? When the Bible also speaks about nobody being able to see God and speak of it, or nobody being able to go to where God is, or nobody being able to see God. So his concept was that one person who came up with the concept of, oh, God is a spirit. That's his concept, because we're all individuals. We all think differently. Everybody thinks differently. And the only way we can know that we're thinking the same is if we voice our thoughts. Like if you're thinking of something and I'm thinking, I get up and I say, I was thinking of milk. You can say, oh, I was thinking of milk also. That's the only way we know. That's the only way we can know what each other is really thinking on the physical, right? So I'm here, and it's so I'm baffled, and I'm thinking God is a spirit. God is a spirit. But yet in Genesis, in the beginning, it says, God said, let us make man in our own image and likeness. And it all comes back to what I was speaking about yesterday about us being stars. Because when you look at it, the stars, and everything is just coming to me, and this is my concept, because I'm an individual with my own thoughts, with my own thought process, which I'm proud of, which we ought to be proud of, because that is why we're here. We're here because we have the free will to create in our own minds. That's why we were made individuals. We were not made in any likeness of each other, but God, in God's likeness. So everybody else is different, but we're all tied to God. We're all like God, but we're all different. And we're unique. And that's what I don't think persons are really getting, that we're all unique. Our thought process ought to be different. So our relationship with God ought to be different. How can we, how, I'm not seeing how we can all be doing the same thing, the same repetitive things. We're different. Be your own self. We were made to be your own self. We were created by Him to be your own self. Right? And it's coming back to where I'm thinking that we're stars. When I was saying that we're literally stars. We're literal stars because we were made in His likeness. And I'm thinking if we were made in His likeness, and nobody being able to ever see Him or go close to Him and come back, I'm thinking about the center of this universe. What is at the center of this universe? The sun. The sun is at the center of this universe. And the sun, we can see the sun. The sun is an image. We've seen the image of the sun. We've seen images of the sun, right? We've never gone close to it. I'm thinking, but who came up with the idea of not being able to ever see Him and go close to Him? Somebody must have done that. In their mind, in their own mind, they only voiced it, and somebody else, okay, I'm thinking the same thing, and then that is how it probably got so. But we also have the ability to portray our own thoughts on somebody else. It doesn't mean we're thinking the same thing. It means that whenever you said it, it came into my mind as well. So I'm thinking, okay, that's what I was thinking too, because the minute you said it, it came into my mind. So that's what I'm thinking. Oh my God. It's so... I'm just thinking out loud. Forget. I'm just thinking out loud. So this is just what is in my mind, you know? You don't have to, you have your own mind. You have the ability and the free will to use your own mind. You know, do it. Think, be vivid. think in your own way. Have your own experiences. Feel your own experiences. Be alive. Become alive. Be happy. You know? And being the image and being the likeness of God, it doesn't mean that we're the same. And I'm thinking, okay, look at what is in the universe. What do you see? Because it says God is in the heavens, and the heavens is up in the universe. That's where we that's where we think the universe is. Most of us think the universe is it's up. Whenever we look up, we see stars, we see the moon, we see reflection of the sun. We see a reflection of the sun because they reflect from the sun. The moon gets its light from the sun. The stars gets their light from the sun. So they reflect from the sun. When we look in a mirror, we see a reflection. We see our reflection of God. So we are literally the stars that is reflecting of the sun, that is reincarnated on this earth in the flesh, in the flesh. That's it. That's just in the body. Because and the Bible also speaks, and that's why we ought not to just be living off the Bible. We should be able to read it and make of it what it is, and then we have to take into consideration how words have been translated over and over the years, the give and take of the languages and the words and their meanings. We have to take into consideration all of these things. People's concept, their individual concept, because we don't think alike. It's their thought. We have the right to think of what it is also. We don't have to call a star a star. We can call it the sun, because we have our own thought process. We can call it the sun. We can. That's our idea. That can be our own idea. We have the right to have our own idea of what it is. We have that right. man. I'm just voicing my own thoughts. Call me crazy. But I would have the right to be. I'm an individual with my own thoughts in my own mind. I'm created this way because he created me this way. You know? There's no right or wrong way. I, I don't think there is. I don't think he's selfish. I don't think he's that selfish. Come on. So when we reflect from him, that's the light that is in our bodies. And the Bible also speaks of whenever we die, the flesh going back to the earth, which it came from, and the soul going back to the heavens, which is where when we look up, we see a star, we see stars. And there are billions of stars, just to pinpoint that there are billions of souls, there are billions of people. Come on now. Come on now. Think. I'm thinking. So whenever we reflect, we reflect from God's likeness. We reflect his likeness, his light. We reflect his light. And the light that is in this image, this flesh, this flesh is my image. The sun is God's image. The star is a reflection, but it was made manifest into this type of image by his soul. When his breath, when the breath vibrated, it became word, and the word became an image, the flesh, which is this body. And how we became on this earth, we look at the placement of where earth is. That is all we have to do. Look at the image, look at the placement of where earth is. And earth being the only thing, the only planet that can bring life. We look at the placement of the earth to where the sun is. We all need the sun. We all need the sun to grow. So the earth is where growth comes from. Whenever you tap into the earth, you grow. We grow. So you tap into the earth and grow. That is how the body, that is how the flesh came about. From the sun being where it is at, tapping onto this, the earth, the physical earth, it bringing forth fruits, growing plants, springing water. That is how unique this planet is. It is the only planet that can do that. Because of the sun's reflection, because of God's reflection, because of the position, the placement that it is in the universe, in this entire universe. That is the reason why. It's not about God being a spirit. And I'm thinking the God being a spirit, it was the concept of an individual. This is what he thought about, and when he voiced what he thought about, it became a reality. That is the power that we have. When we voice our thought, it becomes word, and it is made manifest into reality. What are your thoughts? Your thoughts ought to be positive, so it can create positive, so it can manifest positive things. If you're thinking negative, then your negative thoughts, you're going to voice your negative thoughts. And when you voice your negative thoughts, they become words. And those words are made manifest into negative reality. Come on now. Voice positive thoughts. Think positive. So you can speak positive, so you can voice positive, so positivity can become the reality. And that is all because of the vibration, the reflection that comes in from the reflection of the sun. The vibration of the sun. And I'm just thinking about this sunstorm that just passed. It's happening now. The sun is pushing off so much energy. It's like a sunstorm that is happening now, pushing off so much energy onto this earth. So a lot of persons are vibrating on a high right now because the earth is growing. Now if you go out into the earth, walk barefoot out into the earth, you get so much energy. Then you'll be able to think positively with the reflection from God. I'm gonna stop here because I'm getting too deep in this. I don't know, maybe I don't read, but that's what it was made for. We have a right. We have the right. That's why we were born. That's why we were created. We were created to think positively, to raise the vibration of this earth. No. Get there, do it. Be creative. Create with your mind. Be positive about it. You have your own, and as I said before, this is just my thoughts. Because I'm in my mind and in my body. And I'm connected to him. I'm connecting to him in my own way. In my personal way. Because I'm unique. I'm not like anybody else. And I don't believe I should be doing it like anybody else. I must worship him in my own way. And it's funny how oh my goodness, it's funny how, and this is, I'm probably gonna be for another topic, because I'm here and I have a Bible on my altar, because I have an altar in my home, and I have the Bible on my altar because I was raised in Christianity. I had to go to church, and we used to get some beaten, and then bust me as to go to church. Yes, me get beaten and me get pinched for God church. Me the God church on a Sunday, every single Sunday morning. Me forget to put on my bed and God church when me want to lie down and sleep after me come from see late and see you wave and box me all boat from Saturday. When me lie down in my bed and wave dip on me. Me have to get up out of my bed early Sunday morning and go to church. Even when me tired, me have to go. But I'm grateful for the knowledge, though. I'm grateful for the knowledge because it was an experience. An experience teaches wisdom. And I'm here, and somehow the breeze came through my window, and the Bible, the pages, it went to Ezekiel chapter 13. It came on to Ezekiel chapter 13. And I'm thinking, where did this come from? The Bible, it's telling me that I shouldn't think for my own self. Then why? And I'm thinking, why would the Bible be saying that? Would God be telling me? Why would God be telling me, the person that he made individually? He made me individually in the first place. Why would he make me individual? Why would he make me an individual person, yet tell me to not think individual? How can that be? That cannot be. He made me individual in the first place. So there's no way I'll be thinking like somebody else when I'm built differently. So I don't think he would. I'm just saying, I don't think he would dare tell me not to think my own thoughts when he made me individual. He didn't make me like anybody else. So why would I tell me if I think like somebody, think like everybody else? It doesn't sound right. It just not sound right. And I'm thinking, this word has been translated by a set of persons who robbed, who killed, who enslaved, who who had negative thoughts. This book, it was that was their mindset. And though some persons who and we can have negative and positive mindsets. We can, because sometimes I think negatively. Sometimes we have the right. That's who we are. We were made yin and yang. None of us were made perfect. The only person that was made perfect was Jesus Christ. He was the only person. And this is just a claim too. This is just a claim by individuals who lived in the generation that Jesus Christ lived in. This was what they were thinking in their own mind, using their own thoughts that they wrote. Come on now. So this is just the concept. This is just a concept. This is just what they wrote, they thought. This is what they got. This is what they got. This is what they got from their own relationship with God. This is what they wrote because this is how they got it from God. So this is how they wrote it. Everybody else got it differently. Peter got it differently from John, differently from James, differently from Moses, differently. They all got their purpose differently. They didn't play the same roles. We are all individuals. We ought to seek our relationship with Him on an individual level. Make it personal. How do you make it personal? All of this information just came from me. I got up 4:22, and I went to the bathroom, and when I got back into the room and said, okay, I'm gonna meditate, it was 4:33. And I said, okay, it's 4:33, I'm gonna meditate. And I just laid on my bed. I turned the fan off, and I just listened to the rest of the insects, and that's what I use for my meditation early in the morning. Sometimes I'll use like a sound if I find that my focus isn't. But this morning I got the idea. No sound, no music. Just go off the nature. Just go off what nature is giving you. And I tapped into the insects and the crickets and the frogs and the roosters coming alive, the dogs that were coming alive, the distant cars that were coming alive. That is what I tapped into this morning, nature. And all of what I just said, that is what I got from just meditating, from being in myself, from being in my own mind, my own thought process. You can create with your own mind, create positivity with your own mind and make it manifest. You have that right. We're all individuals. Check me out. I'm Jeanette Thomas. I'm a star seed. I'm an empath. I'm a light worker. And I'm a twin flame. If you want to find out more about what is a twin flame, hit me up. If you want to find out more about what is an empath and what is a star seed and the rules of what is a light worker and the roles they play and the rules each of these individuals. I am that person in this body. I'm those 4 persons in this one body, because we are unique and we all have different traits. We just have to tap into the power of God, which is within. Sit and meditate with your God. His breath is within you. Meditate on His breath. Meditate on His word. His word is within you in your own uniqueness. Can't take what nobody else say, because that is their concept. That is what is in their mind. Don't take what I'm saying. And I'm not saying you should take whatever I'm saying, because this is all what is in my own head. We will never think the same. And unless we voice our opinions, that is how we know somebody else was thinking. the same, and it's only based off our experiences, the life that we've lived. That is the only thing it's based on. Our thoughts are based off our experiences, what we experience in the reality. And what we experience in the reality is based off what we think in our mind and what we voice from what we think. Think positive, be positive, live positive, love. Live, love, laugh, and learn. Peace out, self-love.